Hello, salutations, baffling cyclopeans. It is I, David.
Hi, it's Pepper Proxy. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Today is Valentine's Day.
We're recording this on Valentine's Day. I did get you a Valentine this morning.
You sure did.
And I surprised you with it.
Well, you did surprise me because we are in the middle of snow apocalypse here in Seattle. So, and you also get up earlier than I do. So I came downstairs and looked at the snow, talked about the snow with you, talked about feeding crows.
Taking another walk while it was going to snowing.
Yeah. So there was a good, what would you say, 25 minutes before you sprung it on me?
I sprung my surprise.
You sure did.
And I said, hey, they posted a what might be the cutest George video of all time. And you said, what's it on? Is it on YouTube? Is it on TikTok? Where can I see this? And I said, let me just sit down next to you and show it to you.
Well, yeah, and I asked, what platform they were using, because if it was on YouTube, I was going to request that we put it on the television and watch it on the television on the big screen. But I didn't mind having a little cuddle on the sofa with you coming over and watching it next to me.
But when it started, they said, this is a Valentine's Day message for Pepper.
Yeah. He maybe said, George's dad maybe said a couple of things before that, but then they said this is for Pepper, and I kind of was like a little confused. But it pretty quickly sunk in that you had gotten me a George the Monkey cameo for Valentine's Day.
And I was so happy because I had watched some of the other George cameos, and they were all good, but I did make a special request, which was that you like to watch George eat mealworms.
It's one of my favorite things. He loves them so much.
And you love to watch him eat with a spoon.
Yeah, well, he just did an unboxing that I think we watched yesterday or the day before, where, people send, they must get so many gifts. I can't even imagine. But he got, it looked like an olive wood bowl with a little, suction bottom to suction to his high chair tray, and a little spoon that has, I think it's a wooden handle, but the bowl part is like that same color as the suction, so it's like a green rubber silicone. Yeah. And he was eating, so he ate his mealworms, then lost interest for a second because he was hoping for more mealworms. Wait, beep, back up.
Okay.
So first, George was kind of acting a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Right.
And because George's dad said, Pepper, and then I was like, what? And so then George was acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and then George's mom kind of off camera threw a handful of mealworms on his tray. And then George sat right down.
And he went to eating.
To gobbling.
He gobbled those mealworms right up, one after another. And then he lost interest for a minute because the mealworms were gone. But then he eventually came back and sat down and started eating his applesauce with a spoon.
Yes. And in the meantime, George's dear father, who is so dear, I really like his mom and dad. He's trying to monkeys can't talk. So he's trying to make this TikTok or this cameo so special for me. So he says, this is a very special, David got this message for you, Pepper, for Valentine's Day. Hope he gets a little extra Valentine's love. And then he was kind of trying to, I think, fill some space. Mm-hmm. And so
because George wasn't being entirely cooperative.
No, but he was being George. He was the best. But then George's dad said, I'm paraphrasing for sure, but he says something like, "So Pepper, George loves you." It was kind of funny because seemed so obvious that he didn't want to say "we love you" because that would maybe be kind of weird too. Because
Could be.
whatever,
Right.
So
it could be weird.
But then he's
I wouldn't necessarily think it was if he said the whole George family loves you. We're having a good, like, it wouldn't be that weird, but it was weird in the context.
It was awkward.
Yeah, it was an awkward moment.
Yeah. But overall, it was so awesome. It was such a huge surprise. I even got tears in my eyes because I was like, George is eating mealworms just for me. So thank you, David.
Yes.
It was awesome.
And I had included it in the last newsletter, and I'll include it in this newsletter too, just so people can see it. But I wanted people to see it on Valentine's Day. Because
it's a very special message. Thank you. So it just was a callback to, we had talked about cameos, I think, last week.
Yep.
And then
I wonder why I was thinking of it.
a couple weeks ago, we've kind of been speaking about George ongoing. So.
But we talked about your diaper.
Yeah.
Your diapering of monkeys.
Yeah. It
was
great.
Methods.
I loved it. It's been a special day so far. We got to go for a snow walk. I woke up to George the monkey. It was great.
And it's interesting in Seattle on snow days. It's very different than snow in Ohio.
Yeah, very different.
Because once it snows in Seattle, you just can't do anything with your car.
Yes.
You just have to leave your car parked because there are hills. They don't go down any residential streets with a plow. It's only the main roads that are plowed and sanded, not any
even
of the
if
side.
that happens, because there's there's so few plows.
Yeah, so it kind of shuts the city down in a certain sense, except for people that don't know that they can't drive in the snow.
Right? Well, the funny thing is, the other thing that makes it really challenging is parking is at a premium. So there are cars parked on the streets that are like very close to each other. And the street then is much more narrow because there are cars parked on both sides. And so it's interesting to see one of the cars that got stuck in the snow.
Yeah.
What was the license plate?
Oh, I don't remember.
Michigan.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We saw the Michigan one. The Michigan car half pulled out of the space and just stopped. And so their car was just sticking out to the middle of the road. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was thinking of the other car that got stuck, though. The one we saw turn into our street into a 9-inch pile of snow, and then their car just stopped. And they wanted to continue forward into the 9-inch snow, and I think you counseled them that was a bad idea. It was crazy. I was going to mention, too, we have neighbors down the street that do Burning Man every year.
Yes.
And this year, of course, there was no Burning Man, so they participated in an art installation for Burning Man.
Yes.
Where they made like a little printing press. You could make your own cards. It was very cool, like installation out in their front yard. And now they've changed it to an in memoriam for people that have died since coronavirus started.
Yeah, for those lost. I think it said for those lost. Yeah.
And they have a bunch of, well, I don't know how to say it, but like round tables set up with tiered levels.
They have multiple surfaces.
With LED candles, so they can be outside.
And mason jars.
And people come by, and you can put a picture of a loved one on a candle, and it's full of candles. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's really nice, and it was really nice too because usually from that neighbor, the only reason we know they were artistic at all is they have like a giant sunflower out in their front yard,
made out of like some type of metal. Yeah,
and I was always teasing that I was going to get a gnome outfit because I would be so tiny next to the giant flower.
I mean, seriously, it's like, what, 14 feet high? It's giant.
It's a really, really tall flower. So, but that's the only reason until this year because we figured out the Burning Man connection.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, we get it. And so lots of metalworking.
Yeah.
Really cool projects down there, which is fun.
Yeah.
Even though it's a very sad one this time.
Yeah.
And so that car was stuck right by the in memoriam. down there.
I try to give people who are just driving their little electric cars the benefit of the doubt. But it was just like, I just feel bad for them that they had, there was something that was that important they needed to get to. So I was thinking maybe they're essential workers or something.
Yeah, but our street is impassable.
Yeah,
so
it's not a good idea.
We're just stuck in the house. We did walk down to the grocery store.
Because I'm making chicken noodle soup.
For chicken noodle soup. So that was our big to do.
Yeah.
So did you have anything that you wanted to talk about this week?
Well, just that really wanted to talk about that George message to me because it was phenomenal. I loved it. Are you aware that Fat Tuesday is on Tuesday?
Wait, when is it?
This upcoming Tuesday.
And for us, it's an appropriately named holiday.
I'm hoping that I gain a few pounds on Fat Tuesday.
Because it's when the bakery down the street does their New Orleans special.
Yes, it's Bakery Nouveau, and they do the best donuts I've ever had in my life. I don't know how to pronounce them, though. It's spelled Paczki.
Patsko? Patsky?
It's a Polish donut. We are very sorry to our Polish friends that we so butchered the pronunciation.
Will you describe the donut, though?
Besides the best tasting thing.
Because they're like little pillows.
Yeah, so the ones that Bakery Nouveau make, and I think all of them are this way, but I'm not 100% positive. They're kind of the shape of a beignet.
Yeah.
Which is like a square, puffy pillow of fried dough.
Right.
And you can get them all over in New Orleans. Like, I think Commander's Palace was where they originated, or they're very popular there.
And they're good, but they're also kind of like very commonplace. But these donuts have a little bit of extra kick. What is it about the donuts that you love so much?
They are, they're incredibly heavy. Okay, so the dough is super duper light. It's like a pillow stuffed full of the most delicious custard creams and creme patisserie. Creme pat. The filling. And they shove so much in there. And it tastes, and it's also really well made.
And they only make them they usually make them for a week a year. But this year, because of coronavirus, it's only for the day of.
Yeah, that's what
Fat
it seems
Tuesday.
like. Because we kind of just stumbled upon them last year. I've never heard of them, and I never had them. But we stopped in there to
Saw them in the case, and it was like, that one.
Yeah, I got 4,
Yeah.
and I was so glad. And then I went back a week later, or maybe a week later, and I asked about them, and they're like, "Oh, we only do those donuts the week of
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras." So I've been waiting
For a year.
for a year, and so when I went online to see, should I special order them, I learned. Yes, I need to special order them. And they only will have the king cake on Tuesday, the donuts, as well as muffaletta, the sandwich. I think that's how you pronounce it. The one with the olives and the mortadella.
I would recommend when you go to pick up the donuts, you get a muffaletta for lunch.
Well, then that means I'll need to place an order for that. You can get a slice or you can get a whole one.
Wow.
But I would need to pre-order it.
Okay.
Because I don't think you can just get them. I think you have to pre-order everything.
Okay.
But I'm so excited for that.
I know. You've been looking forward to it for a year.
I truly have. Because sometimes, even in the middle of the year, a couple times, the summer, I was like, oh, I'm going to have one of those donuts in February.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I consider one of my pepper out of the blue comments, because you have things that we'll be driving somewhere and you'll be like, when are those donuts coming back? And
I've done it lately least twice this year.
Yeah, and my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorites of yours, I probably could think of a better one, though, was when you woke me up at midnight and told me bats are underrated. And it was completely out of the blue. I don't know what you were thinking. I was so tired I didn't follow up. And then I was like, you're right. They are underrated. And I went back to sleep just to support your position.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. They are. I love them. They're just trying to live their baddie lives.
Yeah, underrated.
Yeah, underrated. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day. I hope everyone had a great week. We'll try and get through our snow emergency in Seattle.
It's great, isn't it?
And with as little problems as possible. Oh, we did have one other interesting thing happen this week that our garage door broke.
It sure did. So, what were you doing when the garage door broke?
Where were you when the garage door? So we didn't know the garage door broke when the garage door broke because we were in the house and we heard what we thought was either a car crash or an explosion.
I thought it was a bomb. I was in the pantry doing my pantry stuff because, I kind of just hang out there. Like
right.
the amount of times I talk about the pantry on our podcast, people probably think I have a cot in there and just...
Pepper was in her pantry.
Yeah, I was in my pantry. And I came flying out of the pantry and I said, I think I said the F word. Or I maybe said what the heck, but I maybe said the
Fudge?
F word. Yeah. I think I did. Because it scared the poop. I was so scared. It was a very loud noise.
It was crazy. And it caused us. I thought we have a shelving unit in the garage, and things have fallen off the shelving unit onto my car before.
Yeah, well, I call that shelving unit the second pantry.
Yeah,
that downstairs pantry.
The root cellar.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, that fell over because that was the only thing I could think of in our house that would cause that amount of noise if it broke, unless it was just a piece of the house falling.
Well, I thought it could be the shelf that I installed upstairs in the laundry room.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a lot of stuff on there. That's what I ran up there.
But it turned out that there are two giant springs up above garage doors that carry a certain amount of tension so that you can lift the garage door easily. Mm-hmm. And one of those just snapped, and it had about 500 pounds of pressure. So it snapped and then circled around and around, which made a rattling noise.
Yeah.
And it was just extraordinarily loud.
Yeah, I heard the initial snap because it was seriously, I thought it was a bomb. But I didn't hear the subsequent clicking or the hitting that you heard because you were closer to it.
Yeah, and then our garage door suddenly weighed 500 pounds.
Yeah, so how did you figure out that's what happened?
Well, at first I tried to get it open because we were going to take the garbage out.
Yeah, that's right.
And couldn't get the garbage out, so I had to find a different route for the garbage. But then the next day, I went down and started examining the door because it wasn't working. And I was like, I'm going to try and fix it. Because I fixed the garage door many times before. And I went down there and I saw that that piece was broken, although I didn't know exactly what it was.
What it was, yeah.
Then I went back upstairs and started watching YouTube videos. And I was like, holy crap. Because this is the one piece of a garage door that they tell you not to fix yourself for obvious reasons.
Now, did George the monkey have a video for the garage door?
I wish he could have eaten mealworms, but he would have been too surprised.
Yeah.
I think it would have scared him more than a snake. But so we had to call somebody to come fix it.
Who would you call?
Dan. Dan of Dan's Garage Door. But we had to call somebody to do it. But it was such a loud noise. And I've never heard anyone say before that their spring broke in their garage door and made a loud noise. So it's kind of a public service announcement to say, if you hear a horrific crashing sound in your house, it might just be the garage door. But we've had weird experiences with our garage door too. Because remember
when it was vandalized.
The weirdest thing. It was the weirdest thing because somebody hit our garage door with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And it woke you up. It did not wake me up when it happened. And it turned out, we found out later.
Yeah, the most surprising thing about that is the twist that we actually found out who did it.
Because the person with the sledgehammer was drunk, and they went to a party at the corner, and so they hit our garage door twice, I think, with the hammer.
Yeah.
And then...
broke the window out, too. So
broke
2
the
or 3
window
times,
out.
yeah.
And then also broke out the window of cars all the way down the street.
Yeah.
They hit every car window with one.
Yeah.
And we got I reported it to the police, and they came and they were like, this is obviously part of this. If we can figure out who did it. Somebody identified the student, and then we got a handwritten check from that student's father for the amount.
Yeah, we had to
door.
submit we had to submit a couple
Claims.
quotes,
Yeah.
like how much it was going to cost, and that was part of the kid getting probation, I think.
And instead of paying someone to fix it, I just fixed the mechanical part myself.
And we paid a guy to replace the window.
To replace the window, but we've lived with the garage door with
the dents.
with the sledgehammer dents in it since then.
Yeah, the crows kind of like that. They say it's unique. That's how Dan, the garage door man, found our house. He looked it up on Google.
He did. Dan.
He was great.
He was great. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. And to read our show notes, sign up for our newsletter at bafflingcyclops.com.